sandwiches. Do you like peanut butter sandwiches? No. You don't like peanut butter?
Like peanut
okay,
butter
I got
sandwiches,
made fun of the other day. Well, it wasn't the other day. It was back in December when I was in Florida. Right. We went to the grocery store to buy food because it was too expensive to buy food at the resort. So I was at the resort coaching kids at Disney, right? And acting. And so
I love that you had to clarify exactly what
people
you're coaching
don't know
them.
me.
No, they don't.
Some people might know me, but they
funny.
don't. So I'm there. I'm coaching these kids and acting in Florida.
In Florida.
Where do people know this?
Where no one knows me. And no one can recognize my face.
You know what? There is skiing in Florida.
Skiing?
Water skiing.
Yeah.
You keep putting these fake words in my mouth. Don't do that.
I didn't say anything about your mouth. Okay, so
anyways,
Florida.
I got made fun of because
water skiing.
No, I couldn't do it. Okay, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No, I was making back on the sandwiches.
Okay.
You went to the store.
You were cheap.
We went
to
to the grocery store. We bought food rather than spending bukus of money.
Yeah.
On Peekaboo or whatever the crap. It's the name of the place. It's one of the restaurants there at the Swan and Dolphin. And so...
The Swan and Dolphin?
Swan and...
You asshole.
What is this?
The Swan and Dolphin.
Is this some army?
Beat our body.
It's an aquarium.
I'm the
army.
Swedish...
The Swedish
the Swan and Dolphin.
Yeah.
I stayed at the Swan and Dolphin.
Anyways, so I got
will not believe it. Peanut butter. No. 9.
I got made fun of because I just put peanut butter on a sandwich and no jelly.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I, on a regular basis, only eat peanut butter
I know.
sandwiches.
It's why get busy? I'm just trying to eat a sandwich.
I got things to do.
You're adding an extra step in there.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to eat something to go about my day.
Can I ask you one thing about your peanut butter sandwich? Are you a normal amount peanut butter guy, or are you
I like a lot.
extra?
If you're gonna do it, you got to do it.
Man, give me a high five.
I know.
I want you to high five me.
I mean, if I liked peanut butter sandwich, it would have to be a lot of peanut butter.
No, it's definitely for me. It's a lot of peanut butter.
Otherwise you just eat bread.
No, my wife constantly is making fun of the way that I make peanut butter sandwiches. I gob it. It is.
You gob it.
Oh,
that
gob.
makes it sound like you have just one clump in the middle and it's not
You know
spread
what?
out.
If it's a rough day,
and hope and pray that it spreads out.
If it's a bad day, it might just be a glob.
You can just take a big old spoonful of it.
Work was hard today. I ain't spreading.
I ain't got time for that.
I ain't got time to spread. I'm going to bed with my peanut butter and blob sandwich.
Okay.
Glad you clarified what you were talking about there.
So I've got a question. Segueing away from that. What are some? I know people put bananas and other things in with peanut butter. What's the weirdest thing you've ever heard of putting with?
I can tell you.
What?
He's like, I got this. Don't worry.
Because my dad would try anything with peanut butter.
I'm scared.
He was looking to try.
He was a scientist of peanut butter.
He was because I would remember seeing him do it, and I'd be like,
Dad?
He's like, yeah, peanut butter and mayonnaise is not a good combination.
Your dad tried peanut butter and mayonnaise.
Yeah, but apparently that's kind of a thing now. There are some people that...
That's a thing?
And you know what? I'll tell you right now, the people that eat peanut butter and mayonnaise, I don't trust you.
I could go and find a blog site where it's oh my gosh, I had the best peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich today.
Have you tried PB&M? No one says that.
That sounds like a sex move.
It might be, where mayonnaise is involved. You don't know.
Sounds like an infection.
Or somebody's going to the hospital.
He would put I remember him putting sliced cheese. That plastic cheese you get.
Yeah, rubber
we
cheese.
all loved as a kid on it, and he was like that. that didn't really work. But then you get those peanut butter and crackers,
Cheese
and crackers.
Yeah, and they're good.
Those are good, and I don't understand that.
Cheddar and peanut butter, yeah.
It's the crispiness.
Yeah, I guess so. It saves it. I don't know.
But I was always like, yeah, that's gross.
Well, like my grandmother, she would always want to push. Oh, it just grossed me out thinking about it. She would always want to push banana and mayonnaise sandwiches on me with salt. Banana, mayonnaise, and salt.
I mean, you'd have to put a lot of salt on there for me.
And I was
even
just
to
like,
entertain
I mean,
that idea.
I distinctly remember being like 2, being like, Grandma, get that the hell out of my face.
He's been scarred since 2.
Well, you know, and you got what, peanut butter and banana. I understand.
Peanut butter banana, yeah, makes sense. I mean, even I've had mayonnaise and tomato. I've had mayonnaise tomato sandwiches. Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, probably people are like, oh, what? But that's a Southern thing, and it's good. But
Wait, what was that? I wasn't listening.
tomato and mayonnaise.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking. Not a lot of mayonnaise.
I like it. Hey,
they're called
Mater sandwiches.
Mater sandwiches.
I was just getting ready to say that. Which I did.
Which
Mater. Mater sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
I like a good Mater sandwich.
They're not bad. They're not bad.
They're not bad at all.
But don't give me banana and mayonnaise with some salt.
You on a Mater mayonnaise sandwich?
Like my grandma was like, but there's salt, and I'm like, that does not
That
change
didn't make it
any of this,
But
Grandma.
there's salt. But there's salt.
But there's salt.
How is that justifiable?
I don't know. I don't know.
There's
I love
a big
my
old
grandmother.
salt lick in the middle of this sandwich.
I don't know. She's.
You might go on an adventure with some deer.
We might be wrong. She's still kicking, so something was good about him. They've helped her out.
well preserved.
Yeah, and she has smoked.
She
since
learned
was
something from them
$1 years old.
Egyptians.
Around there.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. She pushed them, and I was like,
Son.
no thanks.
Weird.
And what was the weird thing that your family tried to force on you? Anything, Miles? Anything?
No.
You wanna
No, I mean, my family, as far as eating goes, is pretty normal,
Pretty
I guess.
straightforward.
I mean, I think the strangest thing I ever tried was escargot, but that was on a
But
cruise ship.
that's not that weird.
Dude,
I was 3.
Well, that's weird that they were
love
trying.
escargot, dude.
Escargot's pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like,
Yeah, but you were 3.
Yeah.
Your
yeah.
tastes were like, I want Kool-Aid.
But
Yeah.
and-
And chicken nuggets with
chicken
ketchup.
it was it was the 90s, and we were sugar fiends in the 90s, no matter what age you were.
Yeah.
But it was just like, that's the way advertisement was, and it was just geared in our brains. But I feel like at that age especially, your taste buds are just like super sensitive.
Yeah.
So that was just a
Too much.
mouthful of flavor.
Pretty crazy.
I've not had it since. I'm
I've had
not
it.
gonna knock it.
Man,
I've had
it's
it.
got garlic, butter. And
Yeah.
And you're like,
It's actually not too shabby.
I mean,
can I tell you the weirdest thing that maybe as a kid, when you're like a semi-poor kid, basically normal kids that probably
We grew
all
up the
were.
same.
Yeah, we all
Yeah,
grew up the
I'm
same.
Same as you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, for some reason there's nothing to eat in the house that you really want to eat.
Yeah.
You know, you're a kid and you're like, oh, there's mayonnaise. And there's crackers.
You slather around some ghetto Mayo.
Cracker sandwiches.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and they'll be like, where did all the crackers go?
They're not concerned about where the mayonnaise
now,
goes.
now here's the thing.
Mayonnaise is just.
Now here's the thing. Were
It's a
these regular
disposable commodity.
saltines?
Yes, they were salty crackers.
Man, I knew it. Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing. That was a good, solid go-to.
Yeah.
You just throw some peanut butter on there, a
I didn't like
little mayonnaise.
Why?
I didn't like peanut butter then, but now I would probably eat that.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm
I
like,
do
oh,
that.
crackers.
I do that now.
Yeah.
I do that as a snack sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Nah.
I mean,
It's pretty good. You know, even like, you said growing up like semi-poor kind of thing, we had food. But I think that because my mom was so strict about what you ate out of the pantry, You know, because it was like, hey, we had to go to the grocery store. This is what we got. And the meals are planned out for every day. Don't you touch anything in this pantry.
Yeah, we were
or
doing
we'll
meal
starve.
prep before meal prep was a thing.
Exactly. Meal prepping was a thing. And my mother was like, we'll all die if you eat the bread. And so you can't eat it. Don't
I
you
could see
touch
your
the
mom
chips.
saying that. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
oh yeah. Anita King's a saint, but Lord, don't touch the bread or the chips until it's Monday. So I remember
But now you go over there and she's like, get rid of my
Oh, yeah,
Godiva
she was like,
chocolate.
take it off. You know
get
why?
rid of it. I don't want it in here. We need to get
'Cause
rid of
there's
this
not two-
chocolate.
there's not two grown
You
boys
just
in
need to
there.
eat this. You need to eat all this. Come over here. Do you need more Coke? You need to get some
we
Coke.
got 7 bottles.
We got-
You want some more Coke?
You like Dr. Pepper? We got some Dr. Pepper. You want some popcorn?
I'm on
I got some of that sweet popcorn. I've got some of that regular popcorn.
You like
want
cheddar
some?
popcorn?
We got some of the
It's in the
cheddar. We
back.
can pull the cheddar out.
I know they got like super rich.
I can
whenever
make you some hamburger helper.
Got rid of you, Alex.
Yeah, they got rid of me and my brother.
I've got this extra hamburger helper that I just have because I'm used to buying it. You
Yeah.
want some of this hamburger helper?
Oh my god, that's.
I love me some hamburger helper.
Yeah, me too,
I don't
man.
care what anybody says.
Oh, that's good stuff, man.
But yeah, growing up like it's funny how that is, man. You
But
just-
how weird would it be if
you didn't
you
touch
grew
certain
up and
things.
you were just abducted in plain sight?
Nice.
Well, you know what?
Nice
You know what?
segue.
If you grew up and abducted in plain
Boom.
sight,
Boom.
I feel like somebody would write about it and make a
Make a
documentary,
about it,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Capitalize on it.
and then Netflix would buy it.
I feel like by the time I
And
was
produce.
13, I would think that aliens wanted me to procreate with some random
Yeah.
40-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, that seems...
Hey, you know,
fair.
I was just scrolling my phone looking on Netflix because you guys bore me so much.
I'm sorry.
trying to
We were
figure out-
talking.
I just watched an entire series in the 2 minutes you guys were talking. There is a documentary called Abducted in Plain Sight. I know that's hard to believe, but they've already produced it. Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Can we talk about it? Have you guys watched it in the last 2 minutes?
I have, and I feel like I need to
I need to purge.
I need to purge.
That's the
these
word that you
emotions.
have
know
to
what?
use when talking about this documentary.
I need to be touched.
No, you don't.
After watching
Let me tell you something. No, you don't.
Is my mic sounding weird?
Yeah, you're pretty dang close to that mic.
sorry,
It's
but
pretty
You
high.
back up, Scott.
You're just excited.
He's
It's okay.
excited.
Sorry.
You're
It's
in-
Being
kinda-
abducted.
it's...
You can hear it.
For Scott, being abducted
You're becoming-
in plain sight is
You're
a big
abducting
deal.
your
I'm
own.
gone. I just
He's
got-
gone. He's out of here.
Where is he? I just hear him.
I don't know where he. I don't even see him anymore.
Hey, don't
Listeners?
ignore me. I'm right here.
we were acknowledging your voice
Hey, acknowledge
and
this.
the occasional
I've
fart
got to pee again.
build up.
So you guys just continue on
on
while
that little
I take my
box and stop
13-year-old little girl bladder to the bathroom for the 5th time.
You gotta go.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about
Dude,
it.
you guys carry, but like, why does my bladder suck?
I
seriously.
can't.
I don't know.
Of all times, we're getting ready to segue into
I know.
what
No,
this
we've already
entire
segued.
thing.
We did segue.
Just y'all kick
don't
it up.
forget to take the headphones off, because
Yeah,
You
I don't want
can't-
to carry this with me.
Yeah,
your
I,
loud
you
mic
can't.
in there while you're peeing.
Oh my god, that'd be perfect.
It would
If
be.
this was wireless, I'd be like, yeah. So
You do
like,
the whole Frank Drebin from,
yeah.
from Naked Gun, where he's in there.
Okay, just explain it, and I'll be right back.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, you're perfect for this
Yeah.
because you watched it the most recent. And we're talking about a documentary called "Abducted in Plain Sight," and it's a real. Obviously, it's a real story. It's a documentary, and it's sad. Honestly, it's terrifying and
It's insane.
and it's laughable. It's a little laughable. If I'm being real, the entire time I sat there, I was like, why am I watching this? This is idiocracy. Like, how could you be so dumb? And when it boils down to it, because I walked away from it, I was like, it's just like, it's really hard to explain, but at the same time, it's like these people were just very gullible, vulnerable, seeking satisfaction in other places that they didn't know how to receive it. You know, and not only that,
And it was the 70s.
everybody was
up in the 70s.
everybody was free willing, and at least what I've gathered. You keep it straight. You tell us what this is all about. Justin is making it back just in time.
So you've got this show, this documentary
I'm here.
that is based on a actual abduction in '74.
It started
It's
it
early.
started in 74, I believe.
So I'm literally like 5 years old. At that
Okay.
time. But
Wow, you could have been abducted.
I could have. So she was older than me.
This could have been about you.
We're not talking about his experiences.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
No, we're not.
We don't need him to
I'm just
cry
watching
on this show.
cartoons at this
That's
point.
true.
We'll be
Okay,
on.
you were safely tucked in bed. All
Yeah,
right.
it was- right.
Yeah, tucked,
With no one else sleeping in it.
tied more like. Oh god.
Okay,
So
back
So
up.
this show is basically about a family that was taken advantage of by
Heavily.
a guy, a pedophile. I mean, that's really what he was.
Manipulating.
Manipulative.
Craze.
pedophile.
And this is why pedophiles are registered now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because this dude had he had pedophiled. He had
Sounds like a job.
yeah.
Well, I've been pedophiling since 1972.
over the way.
That sounds creepy. Let's
Yeah,
This is wrong.
it's very wrong. Anyways,
We have a
this
conscience
dude,
here on the show.
Yeah.
by the end of the documentary, you figure out that he had been molesting other children and had been
convicted.
convicted and
Yeah.
spent time in jail over it.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing is through all of this, due to the parents,
Yeah.
he spent 3 months in jail,
Yeah, total.
and
For-
then
for
all
this.
said and done, he kills himself off.
And I'm sorry, we might have to rate the episode, but what a move. You know what I mean?
You're a piece.
He's a piece
mean,
of.
I mean,
I'm sorry, but he deserves every curse word that we can develop for this episode.
he
was
deserves
the
curse words
worst
that haven't even been
human.
created.
Oh my God!
He was basically like a Charles Manson type guy.
Yes.
He basically could
Without
manipulate
murdering.
people. He got into. your
Here's the
system.
thing: when it was all said and done, after I watched this documentary, I was like, superpowers do exist. This guy had a superpower.
Yeah.
Did.
He could convince anyone to do anything he wanted. You watch when they're interviewing his brother. His brother's just
Yeah.
like, man, yeah,
Yeah,
it's just whatever. He's touching little girls.
He was like the brother was.
He was like
he was
borderline.
pedophile.
Yeah, but he was
we knew
borderline
it
questionable.
We knew
he
it
was
for
questionable.
quite a while. We knew it for quite a while. I knew he was a pedophile for
I mean,
years.
he called me and he was like, "Yeah, I want to. We're married and blah blah blah." Why didn't that guy go to jail?
Yeah, well, he should have been an accessory of some kind. But
That-
they should have been the
That
family-
dude,
family
that
should-
dude is just as big of a turd as his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
backtrack.
Sell car.
Go back. Go back. Go
God.
back.
Well, I know
We're jumping
I
ahead
know.
to all the angry
this,
points.
This thing.
We
now
get-
that I'm
we're gonna
talking about
fume.
it, I'm heated.
Guys,
over
I just
this.
hope y'all are ready for us to all be pretty angry.
So, can I-
Because I think we all three
start.
see ourselves as decent guys.
yeah.
We're not the
Scoot
best
your
all the
mic
time,
this
but we're,
way.
we're pretty good people.
Right there.
Yeah.
This,
let me
this
let me
fella-
adjust
let
you.
me while they talk to each other, and I can't hear them because I'm in a separate headset.
You can hear us. Open your ears.
What's wrong?
This guy just was, oh my God, a piece of work
That's
while Scott
beautiful.
burps.
I
But
can't
like,
hear you. Oh wait, you're not even sitting next.
Oh my God, Scott.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking. That's why you couldn't hear me.
what are you good now? Oh my God.
He goes, I can't hear you. And I'm
He's not even
talking.
moving his mouth, Scott.
Now, can you
Okay.
hear me?
This is my reaction.
Go, Scott.
Here's me watching it the other night. And generally, a lot of times, I will be surfing the internet or something too
Yeah.
while I'm watching stuff, and I'm like, I'll just put this in it on, and
Noise.
because I'm gonna watch. It's just like putting wrestling on when you're like,
Yeah.
oh cool, and then you look away.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm sitting there reading email, and then I look, and I'm like, these people are real.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the most stupid human beings
Now-
I've ever seen.
But,
Yes.
but that's the thing. They're in Idaho, right?
Right.
I've been there
Okay.
twice.
Why?
On purpose?
I went to Idaho on mission work.
Okay.
It
Is
is.
there a lot of potatoes there? Or?
Okay, they have a candy there called the Idaho Spud.
A candy?
Yes.
Is
And
it
it's a
good?
coconut marshmallow chocolate candy. It is the most magical thing you'll ever have.
Sounds good.
So that sounds like that's the only thing going for him.
No. Yeah, because the other thing is they have fry sauce, and it's just as confusing as mayonnaise on peanut butter.
So they have fry sauce and pedophilia. So we should probably avoid Idaho.
Yeah.
Hey, guys,
So we're done.
Thanks
Point-
for the potatoes, but we're good.
Point made. Point made. We're done with Idaho.
Yeah. Sorry, Idaho listeners. Do you guys have podcasts yet? Can you listen to us anyway? I don't even know.
I think they're going to think that they're going to be.
God, I'm going to be a heel in this one, I think. Oh.
Okay, so
But anyways,
family,
yes, they're disconnected. They're disconnected
Yeah.
from a lot of the world.
right?
Yep.
Well, I mean, they're basic people. They get up, they go to school, and the dad goes to work, comes back home. They go to church on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They have neighbors around them that they think of as pure. You know, they're family too to them.
Yeah.
And then that guy moved in next to him with his family, and apparently he had prior history of weird behavior, and then he got into these people's lives, and apparently gets a fixation on Jan.
Yep. The daughter.
Who's 12 years old?
12 years old at the time.
Yeah.
But here's another terrifying part is that the documentary didn't even cover the side of his family. All right?
Yeah.
Like, his wife just popped in and out. What about his kids? What about his wife?
Right.
Like, they obviously were brainwashed because she came over there and was like, look, if you don't do this thing, he's going to do this thing, and you're all screwed.
Yeah.
It's like, because it comes down to the wife of, is it Jan? What was the little girl
The
name?
girl's name was Jan.
Jan.
Okay, so Jan's parents had
Worst parent award ever.
Like-
for both of these.
like
cats.
in order to get Jan, he divided the parents by fooling around with the mom and then getting the dad to jack him off.
Yeah, in his car.
Yeah, and be like, I'm not attracted to my wife. Will you relieve me?
It wasn't even. Yeah, it was that. But he's just like, I'm just
my
so
jaw
overwhelmed.
because the way they worded it
Yeah.
Yeah.
was just like,
Yeah.
and this family, I hate to say it, but like at that point, I know they've grown. People they make changes in their life, but that's a joke.
Man.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
And then
And it's such a joke. He's become a pop figure.
yeah, the reliever. They're calling the pop the reliever. I don't know if it's just a joke.
Yes.
Oh, I've seen
this
it.
This is
I'll
a real
I'll
thing.
show it to you right now.
Scott, have you
His
not seen
hand
this?
is over here. His
This
hand
is-
is over here.
Yeah.
Like this.
His hand is to his side, like he's like reaching over,
Oh,
relieving.
my God.
So, like, my thing is, though, is like, before I pull this up to show Scott, my thing is, you've got this scenario where this guy who is just like a mental ninja. Mm-hmm. He not only, it's not even about, it is, yes, it's about him, messing around with this little girl, this child, but
So messed
it's not
up.
even just that, guys. It's like, yes, he's a pedophile, sure, but
His
he's not only
her
doing that,
parents.
he is mind raping and physically abusing the parents.
Yeah.
He is somehow mentally, and I'm going to use that word again. I know it's a harsh word, but he has mentally raped.
It is.
her parents.
That is exactly what's
He
going on.
has mentally raped them. And how you tell me right now, both of you guys, you have families, you have kids.
We have kids.
I'm saying
You have
you do.
kids.
Scott does.
I don't have
Miles,
kids.
That he knows.
Daddy
Don't
knows of.
put that. No, don't
No,
do that. Scott.
There might be a couple.
No, I don't have children.
There might be a couple floating around. We haven't got that far. There's been some emails. We're not sure.
No. Stop this. I don't. Oh my God.
So imagine, Scott, you do, of course, but Miles, imagine you have kids, me as well. And all of a sudden, this person enters your world that you think is a cool guy. You have him over for dinner, introduce him to your family, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's saying that this is part of the documentary. For his therapy, part of his therapy is that
Is the lie.
he needs to sleep with your daughter in bed. Not like actually have physical contact, but like sleep in the same
How
bed as your
dumb
daughter.
do you have to be?
What do you say to that?
That's why
You say no.
This is why
You
we're
say-
all paranoid now.
Yes.
Because
yes.
of things like that happening.
Yes.
Because when I'm watching it, I'm like, and you know, I've always been like, yeah, that guy might be something messed up.
Oh.
With that guy. But that back then in the '70s, you're like, well, you know, you're pretty trusting of your neighbors a lot of times.
I mean, Scott, you have like a better outlook on that era than we do. Like, you know, I mean, you lived in those times, and it seemed in movies that we've seen and our parents talking and stuff, it's just like, and you telling us, it seemed simpler. It seemed like, well, we can't.
Well,
we
back
can't
then
be
you could
too
hop
afraid
into
of-
you could hop into a semi with anybody, some random. You could just hitchhike your way across
hitchhiking
the
was
country.
a thing bigger than,
and then a decade later, it was like a no go.
Yeah.
Because the '70s was notorious for multiple like massacres, like crazy satanic stuff.
People using that to their advantage.
Yeah.
The whole idea of, you know, well, hey, we're all Americans. We're all Americans. We're all doing well.
Yeah,
we're all happy.
Just wrapping up the
we're all
flower
brothers.
child.
We're all
kind of
brothers and sisters
era,
here.
I guess you could
and
say.
I love everybody, and I love this earth. Let's all have a good time. There were snakes in the grass. There were criminals that preyed upon that, predators.
Yeah.
And he was a master predator.
I mean, they show background for him and stuff, and you're like, okay, I can see why. Also, that he had been twisted to the way that he was.
Yeah, he had a rough childhood.
Yeah, and then he was mentally unstable, but able to just.
But there's a fine line there.
Yeah.
He was completely aware of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
And
is-
he used it to his advantage.
Yeah, he's a super intelligent guy.
Yes.
Too.
As a person who like is oddly obsessed with like true crime and like serial killer stuff, like reading and watching stuff about them, I personally like he easily could have he just pointed his arrow at the, you know, mental destruction of people. He could have easily been a serial killer.
Oh yeah,
Like,
he
you
could have
watch
gave
so
Ted
much-
Bundy a run for his
Oh
money.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I'm saying is like he is like just the he just tore down their family and just everything from the mindset and physical too, but without murdering anybody. He is on a level of Ted Bundy.
And
he
you
truly,
know,
truly
the
is.
saddest part of this is like, what if people that had these abilities, what if they took that energy and they weren't like mentally insane? What if they had took all that power that, I mean, it is a power.
Is that the baby again?
My baby, it's Damien.
Damien the cat has made his way
Damien
into
the
the house.
cat.
Have you heard that door open
And
and
you're
shut?
talking about if they used it for good.
Yeah, if they used it for good. Like, could you imagine the world that we lived in?
But
like,
I don't-
What I know. I like.
Go
to,
ahead with what you say.
But it's just like.
I'll rebuttal.
I mean, I'm gonna rebuttal it too. But the thing is like,
But
it's the world of what if.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, and what can we do as a society?
Yeah.
To help fix it, because I think a lot of it sits in the realm of we're all so angry about everything, and the media is like super in control of that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like they're just fueling the anger,
Yeah.
and documentaries like this, like we addressed it like not even 10 minutes ago. We all got really heated just even like talking about it.
If you're a semi-normal human being, this made you mad.
Yeah, well,
This
the
made you
thing is,
mad.
it was a dormant anger because I shut my anger down. I like suppressed it a lot because I don't like to sit there. But the entire time I was watching this documentary, my mouth was on the floor.
Yeah.
yeah, mine too.
And what I was gonna say, like when I said a rebuttal, is
So bad.
what'd you say?
I wanted to smack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Knock some sense into him.
When you said like, you know, wish we could, because you say it's like a superpower of theirs, because yeah, very much so.
Dang, he is chomping away on
He's
that
eating
food over there.
He's eating that food hard.
So loud.
But it's like
Sorry.
a superhero or superpower that they have over people and their brains and their minds and their lives. If you could turn it into good, that'd be beautiful. If you could somehow learn how to do that. But I don't think just on everything that I've read, seen, watched, learned, it's such a chemical imbalance. I don't think that it is reversible. I think they are this way, and that is what we have with them. That's just the person they are. Now, on the opposite side of it, there's a scale. You have people that are that way in a good way. Well, you do. I mean, but I don't think there was any saving this guy. He was just, this is him.
Oh, clearly.
I'm not a black and white person, but when it comes to mental health,
oh no.
sometimes that's just.
I mean, the guy
beyond
served
help.
time. The guy served time, and then he got his eyes fixated on someone else. Mm-hmm. And there was no. I mean, at least from what
There was
we're
no
seeing
rehab there, no rehabilitation.
No, and there was no realization of like repercussions of what they were doing and the actions that he was taking, like how that was affecting the lives of those people.
Yeah.
And his like his own.
Yeah.
Like he didn't care.
Yeah.
Because he saw this one thing that he wanted and he knew how to get it.
Yeah.
He had to manipulate the whole family.
Yeah.
Master manipulation.
And he was willing to go through it.
And they, I mean, watching the beginning of the show, the movie,
Documentary.
and showing how he basically was well liked by the community.
Yeah.
And then he became good friends with the family. You know, they hang out. They, you know, then he starts, you know, start noticing that he's taking pictures of the one girl more than the other ones.
Okay, that one picture where he is like got his arm around her and he's got like his hands like on her thigh, like almost nearly on like her inner thigh, and then her hand is on his inner thigh.
Yeah.
And then the mom is sitting in the like recliner.
Yeah.
I'm like, that in itself is your sign. Like, get that dude away from your daughter.
Going into the right after that, it's when he comes and he asks if he can pick her up to take her horseback riding.
Yeah.
And you're like, the mom's like had already kind of started having a feeling that maybe this isn't a good idea that this guy. So she was starting to notice.
But see, that alone, I can imagine being not too big of a red flag at in those times.
In those times, yeah.
Yeah.
So they go, but my problem was like, okay, they didn't come. They let a whole day go by.
Yes.
And I'm like, if
That she was missing?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, there was 2 days.
No,
But
I mean,
even a day.
a day, I would have been like, it wouldn't have
It wouldn't even.
day with
Yeah, I was about to say
I
it
would
wouldn't
have been
even
calling
made
the
it 24
FBI.
hours.
Like,
Yeah.
I know they call the FBI and they got a voicemail, whatever. I'd been calling the local authorities and been like, yo, this dude kidnapped my daughter.
Yeah. But then it was like
Within-
5 days later, they were like,
Yeah.
well, I guess we better call.
Yeah.
And I was like,
God.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That made me angry. I was
Yeah.
just
You know, and
Yeah.
and okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Being a parent.
I'm gonna segue into another side of this.
yeah.
How do you feel about them making money off of this?
See, okay, whenever I just got here, can I go ahead with this?
Yeah.
When I got here, okay, Scott was already here, and we were just waiting on you to come downstairs. And I get in, and we just kind of start spitballing about what we wanted to talk about, a little bit about this. And my first real thing, the one thing that bothers me the most, well, I shouldn't say the most because everything was terrible.
Right, yeah.
But one thing that just really irks me to the core is that all this happened. Now, we haven't touched on, we did say that he was infatuated with the daughter, who was 12 at the time. He also had a year-long affair with the mother of that daughter, and she was totally about it, thinking about leaving her husband for him. And not only that, he did have relations with the father. The father admitted
and who's to say it was just that one time?
Who's to say? Exactly. Now, that's what I was about to say. The father admitted to, being a little handsy
Yeah.
with him and
I mean, if he's
pleasuring
willing
him
to
in the
do
car.
it once,
relieving
he's willing
him.
to do it.
Relieving him the one
more
time.
than-
He only mentions the one time. Now, all that to say, all those things happen. Terrible parenting, terrible, terrible people, horrible outcome for this little girl, right? And then the mother turns around years later and writes a book about the entire scenario, which she was heavily involved in. heavily, had a year-long affair with the pedophile, the abuser, writes a book about the whole thing and makes money on it. That's the thing that pissed me off. Like,
and the daughter was fine with it.
Daughter was fine with it,
And
you watch this,
they're still making money off.
oh,
of it.
absolutely. You watch this documentary, and they all don't even act like they've been hurt, except for the father at some point.
No, that's just embarrassment.
Yeah.
But they're okay. But they don't seem embarrassed. They just talk about it like it was a Sunday afternoon, and you're just like, what?
You can tell by the reaction that was given by the father that he was embarrassed by saying it.
By saying it.
I don't. And it's one of those things. It's
Well,
like,
my wife wrote about it, so I got to put it out there.
But even one of the daughters even mentioned that he was a sensitive guy, and she had never seen him cry that hard.
Yeah.
But the thing is, excuse me, is like, is this man always kind of like been attracted to men? Because he does have feminine qualities about him. I mean, I'm not one to question, but he did. Listen, the wife clearly had her screw-in spree with this guy.
Oh yeah.
Who's to say that the same wasn't happening with him?
And then you want to look at that and be like,
I'm sorry.
How did this guy
Yeah.
have this power? What was he doing?
It was a superpower.
Man, he's a super villain.
He saw people's weaknesses, and he honed in on them, and he just tore them apart.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just translated into every aspect of his life, because his brother was talking. He was like, he could sell a car to anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like,
even the family knew how he was. He was smooth-tongued, slick-tongued, man.
I mean, he already had, like I said, he had his brother brainwashed.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how he brainwashed the little girl after he had taken her, and then was.
He's
saying,
in the jail cell in Mexico.
Yeah. Like, but even before that though, where he was pretending that there was
aliens
were going to destroy the world,
and if she didn't have sex, yes, if they didn't procreate, him and her.
But I mean, he didn't.
Aliens
say
would destroy
that
the
to
world.
Her,
No,
that it was him. It's just that
he would
record. He would do messages
because he was there.
But he did the messages through the radio.
Yeah,
like that's the extent.
The tape recorder.
That is the extent that this guy went to. It's not him just being like, oh, like, well, maybe today I'll try this. No,
it wasn't. He wasn't looking for instant results. He knew the longevity of.
He had a long game already set up.
Yeah, because he questioned. It's the magic if.
Yep.
If I do this, what's going to happen?
Yep.
He found the end result.
He played a game. He was playing a game. He was enjoying himself. He was having fun. He literally, this family to him was like a cat with a ball of yarn. Yeah. He was literally just like, well, I'm just going to toy with them today, see what happens. And I don't know that it was just him playing around and just to be crude and mean with them. I think he got off. Of
course he did.
He truly probably
kept. I mean, he would have stopped if he did.
Exactly. Yeah. He was just thoroughly enjoying.
He loved the challenge, obviously.
Right.
Man, God, I get fired up thinking about it. It's just there's just so much to this whole story.
I mean,
everybody's mad at him. I'm just as mad at the family.
Yes,
exactly, and that's what I was about to say.
Terrible
is that
people.
I feel like probably 70% of the people who have watched this documentary have sat back and gone, "Holy crap!"
Yeah,
that's unbelievable what happened to that family.
Yeah,
like 70%. Whereas you've got the other 30% who are going, no, they're freaking stupid.
Yeah,
and they're making money off of this.
Yeah,
they're selling,
which is disgusting.
This
to me.
victimized product.
It's disgusting.
And they can spin it all they want to and say, maybe we're helping make people aware of a situation that can be taken advantage of, like she was. But then they're still making money.
No. I don't agree with that at all. Like, you're sitting here.
I'm just saying that.
Oh no, I agree with you. But I'm saying with her, like the way she was trying to still sell being a victim. No, man, you're not a victim. You're like you fed the beast.
Yeah.
You fed the beast knowingly and willingly, as well did your husband. And I'm sure that he fed it more than the one time he admits to. So
Now, the one person I do feel bad for all of it in this entire scenario is Jan.
yeah,
Right.
she was too young to know anything.
No, she had, I mean,
He was
and
so
she
convincing.
slowly,
Yeah.
she slowly became cognizant of what was going on.
Yeah.
And, and she talked about that moment of realization,
Like
and
from her birthday. Like when
Yeah.
she realized the next, she was like,
she was like, I'm still alive. My family's still here.
Yeah.
But then she's still like, because it was such a poison in her
Yeah.
brain.
It was Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
She had
that-
Stockholm before that was even a thing. You know what I mean? Like she was in love with it. Well, she thought
and
what she knew was love.
I feel like
That's
the
what she had.
documentary did such a great job of telling the story across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's experience, really.
Yeah.
They did
That
a
was
good
that
job
was
there. Yeah.
that was important, and I hope people walk away from this documentary going, this entire thing is messed up. The parents are messed up, and just as much as that dude, and especially nowadays, I think it's a very important documentary. Because it's putting it's putting the responsibility and the accountability in people's court.
Yeah.
There's so many accusations of, oh, they did this, she did this, he did that kind of thing, where it's like, check yourself at the door.
Yeah.
Start with yourself and really figure this out.
We're living in the age of documentaries.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Truly so. We're a group of humans right now that we do not accept what the news tells us. We don't look at the news. Well,
It's more of a combatant thing. There's
question.
still a
We
lot
question.
of people who eat up the news.
true. Well,
but our
they're also
generation-
looked at as sheep.
Our generation and your generation as well, Scott, is fighting against it.
Yeah.
That we're more rebellious and less accepting to the idea of.
But for some reason, which isn't always a good thing, I think you should do your own research, not only just your own, but do it correctly. There's a lot of people that rely on documentaries to give them honesty and truth. And sometimes a documentary's whole goal is to entertain, not just give you facts. It's also
Because
like,
that
hey, I
makes
want to be
money.
popular.
Yeah.
I want to be popular, get a lot of views, and make it up the list to number one. Because documentaries are almost looked at more than just, hey, let's watch a movie tonight. No. A lot of people are like, hey, let's start a new doc. Let's start a new doc tonight, a new true crime doc.
It's definitely trending for sure.
It's trending. So, but I will say, like you were saying, this documentary, because the family is involved in it, you get the facts. You get the truth behind it. You get the background on it.
But isn't it interesting that they still play the victim card through the
Oh, they do.
I mean,
man.
they.
But the
they-
documentary doesn't allow it.
Well, it does, and they accept, and
does.
but no, it does. They are going, oh, I did this, but
woe
they
is me.
cap it off. Yes, it's the woe is me. They cap it off with, I'm still the victim here. It's like, this guy was so powerful. Because
Okay.
what have we been talking about the entire time? This guy
superpowers.
has a superpower.
Yeah.
Well,
Which is not, it's not out of the realm of believability
Yeah.
at all.
I actually wanted to hear more from the FBI guy.
Yeah.
Because it looked like
Oh,
had-
that dude was livid.
yeah, that
He
guy
was
was
so
like,
mad.
He was like, wait a minute. I mean, at first he was like, okay, maybe this is just a family friend, and and then they were gone that long, and he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is definitely a kidnapping.
Yeah.
And then when it happened, when they dropped the charges because they were threatened, he was just like, no, it should have been full on, like, no.
And what I found even more interesting was he was going, I didn't even know really what a pedophile was.
Yeah, that was getting ready
Yeah,
to say that.
yeah.
Like, that was like,
That was not something at that
Yeah,
time.
that was just
thing.
another, like, jaw dropper.
Well, as as I'm growing up, that wasn't something that you knew about, and it was, and you may laugh at this, but when I'm not sure what year it was, but do you know what Different Strokes is?
Yes.
The TV show.
Yes.
So there was an episode where they dealt with a pedophile. On the episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
And on national TV.
Wow.
And so
Awareness
Gary
was
Coleman's
becoming a
character-
thing.
Yeah. Well, it was more of an awareness type of thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was appreciated, I
Yeah.
guess. But I remember seeing this episode where it was like, Gary Coleman and his buddy Arnold, they were like, hey, the pedophile gets them to come over to their house, like, hey, you hang out. He's being a nice guy and everything. Yeah. And he ends up, he's like, well, you guys want to take a bath? And I remember that Arnold gets in the bath.
Oh, my
But,
God.
But the Gary
This
Coleman
is
character,
this is blowing my mind now. I just want
yeah,
to
but
watch.
the Gary Coleman character ends up going, no, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
So, but then he goes and tells his adopted dad.
Oh,
that
so
that
the other one
happened.
stayed though?
Yeah, the other one
Oh
stayed.
no, man.
So I was like, wow, and that, that's stuck in my mind for years, where you're like, oh, that's awful, but also appreciated. But then that was the first time that I had ever seen anything like that.
Wow.
And probably most people.
Yeah, no, that's heavy. I mean, the fact that in that time, even the directors, the writers, and all that stuff, the producers were like, "Hey, we really," they probably had a meeting and was like, "We really need this.
To be done.
Well,
This is a happening, and we need it to be talked about."
Right.
and that has kind of always been in the forefront of the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Because if you got a lot of people who are on the left side who are like, this is important, we need to address this issue, and they have the ability to do so.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have producers who are going, yeah, this is really ballsy, we're just going to go for it.
Just gonna do it.
And we could be shut down
Yeah.
tomorrow after we air this episode, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, SNL is notorious for doing that,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they're still on the air.
and they're
They're
still on the
still-
air
they're still on
because
the
of
air.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly what has defined SNL.
Right. It's, and hopefully this documentary also is, like you said, I hope it's a learning tool for people that can go, and possibly a healing tool for
Yeah.
some people, where they can actually, maybe they could come out to say, hey, this happened to me. I need to talk to somebody.
And not
about
seek
it."
a paycheck out of it.
Yeah. Just find help.
Because honestly, that is the most unsettling part of it, is when they started throwing in the book,
Yeah, and you notice
which
they
was
did-
important. And I love that they kept the FBI guy in there and all of these investigators,
Yeah.
and they're putting their information in there, going, we told them that this is what they needed to do, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And this is why he didn't get the time that he should have.
Right.
Yeah.
And-
So
And
Go ahead.
it falls on the parents.
Well, I mean, there's the other thing. I thought it was now talking to you guys about it, but if they had said anything about that they wrote a book at the beginning of the documentary,
yeah.
you would have not had any sympathy for
No,
it.
no, no, no,
No.
no.
And then
Not
it's like
not
till
an
the end,
ounce.
you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
they wrote a book, and actually, when they showed her like speaking and stuff, I was like, okay, that. I understand that. That seems like something good to do, is to speak with other people that have had a similar situation. But like you said, they're profiting off of their.
They're profiting off of this.
Yeah.
The mom should not have been writing a book.
No.
She wrote it as an empowerment thing,
Yeah.
when the only person that should have even thought about writing a book
Should have been Jan.
was Jan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's the one that is seeking empowerment. Because she lost all that power. I mean,
Yeah.
she lost herself.
She lost her
She
childhood.
wasn't even able to find herself.
No.
Or know who she could have been outside of this.
I
you
love
know?
the courtroom scene though when she basically tells him
Yeah.
in his face, and I was like, good for you.
Yes.
That was like, okay, that was probably the best thing that could happen for you against him.
Yeah.
That was going to happen.
Yeah. And you know, just to throw a cherry on top of everything, I just found out yesterday there's a season 2 coming of this exact same case.
What?
Yes. And apparently...
You mean a part 2?
Part 2, if you want to
part
say
2.
that, sure.
Yeah,
Part
well,
2.
just like
It's
some
not
people
season,
might not know.
Sure, yeah. So there's a part 2 coming. And from what I was told, like I looked into it after actually Tiffany, our friend Tiffany, sent me a message and she said, hey, because she's about it too. Like she's going to listen to this podcast and just be as irate as we are. Trust me. Tiffany texted me and said, hey, I just heard this today, blah, blah, blah. So this part 2 of Abducted in Plain Sight is apparently supposed to wrap around. Apparently there's a lot more to it because of religion.
Okay.
And there's a lot that the person in charge of the whole production of this documentary didn't get to really pounce on because they wanted to
noticed flickers of that because the dad had been talking to the bishop.
The bishop,
But I was like, what religion are they
exactly
talking about? Are they? Because I thought at one point I was like, are they Mormons?
I don't know. I'm not sure of it. But apparently
that's
second,
big. That's big out in Idaho.
Yeah.
This second part is apparently supposed to really heavily touch on
Ooh, dude,
why.
That's going to be some very colorful material.
Yeah.
That's going to paint a picture for sure.
So when Tiff sent me that, I was like my ears perked up like a freaking, you know what I mean? I was like, oh.
German Shepherd.
Yeah, I was like, oh, really?
I kind of want to watch that now because I'm like,
yeah,
this is all in my head.
Yeah, I need a little bit of like, not a redemption story, but a little bit more like clarification of like why
Yeah. Like why were you so willing? Why were you so giving? Why were you so clueless? Like honest to God,
I want to know the abductee. I want to know his wife's story. I want to know that family's story because why the crap is she stuck with him if he served time over this?
Yeah.
She had to know.
Yeah.
She was playing a part in it.
Didn't he die?
He committed suicide.
I do want to. I actually want to hear more from the FBI stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's probably pretty interesting too because they're.
Yeah. That may be part of this, but
I mean, they're honestly just scratching the surface when it comes to all this.
Yeah. I just heard that the focus mostly
it is absolutely it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It is
because he was smart enough because he had been charged with this.
Yep.
To know what he could do.
Yep.
Sexually and get away with it.
Yep. That was
that
crazy.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like who have you been talking to learn all this stuff?
Yeah, that was insane.
Oh, wow. It's crazy.
Well,
I highly recommend watching it. I know that we just talked irately about it, but
I mean, if you don't
it's informational.
If you don't want to feel what we're feeling, definitely don't watch it. But if you want to kind of seek understanding of where we're coming from,
it's mind blowing.
I mean,
it's mind blowing.
And
if you have seen it, you understand exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, it's unfortunate that it is a form of entertainment.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's very enlightening.
It is. It's informative
because these people still exist. These people are out there every day.
Like Scott was saying, you know, like on that TV show back then, that was their only route of informing people.
Yeah.
Was hey, let's make an episode that's false, but you know, relatable to stuff that's happening. And now, our form of entertainment, in quotes, I'm doing air quotes, is documentaries. And sure, I love a good documentary because it's like, oh my God, this happened. You know, you like every time you get that climax of this really happened. You know what I mean? It's exciting because you're like, oh my God, that's real. It didn't happen to me, so I'm okay. But I can't believe that happened. But at the same time, you walk away with the knowledge, and you walk away with, okay, I need to be aware.
It's the
I need to be
first
aware.
thing that I've watched in a long time where I was emotionally involved.
Yeah.
And very angry.
Very angry.
I was very angry with it because I was just like, I still don't understand how these people could have been this gullible.
I'll never understand. I can honestly say that, you know, there's some people out there that could probably try to like break it down for me, but I will still fight you and say, there is no reason. There is no reason that this family should have let this
It's unfortunate that I
happen.
sat there going, I'm not surprised.
It's
Because,
honestly,
I mean,
time.
Yeah.
A lot of
The
people are
time
more trusting
with the
in
addition
that
of the
time
the next parts being time and religion.
Yeah.
That's a big heavy part.
Because I will say this. I mean, it was a simpler time when I was a kid, like in the 70s, dude. You could stay out at night and run around and you know, in the whole neighborhood.
Yep.
I mean, you go back
even at our age, you could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to like my parents' time frame where my dad's like, yeah, we'd go over 2 or 3 neighborhoods over to play baseball and come back at, you know, 8 o'clock at night and stuff. You didn't worry about things like being abducted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You didn't.
I
think
grew up
about
as a
that.
kid going
It was
out
rare.
off into the woods, not telling my parents where I was going.
Yeah, me too.
I would go a mile, 2 miles off into the woods,
Heck yeah.
and come back fine. I just knew how to look at the light and how it was hitting the trees and when I needed to get home.
I gotta get out of here.
Riding my bicycle up into town from where I live.
Yeah.
You just it's not something, and I think it really legitimately became stuff like that started happening.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, and now we're in the information era.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this part too.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
I am
we're gonna
too.
watch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
After
Absolutely.
watching the first part, I have to have a little bit of closure on
Some other
what
stuff.
is really going on.
Yeah.
For sure. So if you haven't watched this, by all means, watch it.
Then punch something out.
Make sure you have a punching bag nearby and don't
Yeah.
punch your significant other.
Honestly, before I remember there was a certain point where I literally said, "What?"
Yeah.
Like out loud.
Out
I'm
loud.
sitting by myself watching this. And
Yep.
I went, "What?"
Yeah. Well, even there was just for me the part was I was laying on the couch. It was a Sunday afternoon. Me and my wife call it lazy Sundays, and we don't do nothing on Sundays. So like, I'm laying on the couch, got a pillow, covered up. I'm good to go. We're watching. I was like, yeah, let's watch this documentary. Everybody's talking about it. Let's just watch it. Laying there, it's going, and I'm like, what? You know, this whole time I was like, what? Not out loud as much, but just like to myself, like, what is happening? What is this?
What did your wife?
And then the part, I was in my car with him,
He's
and he said he was
for a drive.
so
My wife
stressed and
doesn't
he
like
needed
me."
relief. So I relieved him, and the dad jerked him off in the car, and I literally sat up off the couch. I was like, "What the hell?" And I was out loud, and my wife like busts out laughing. She's like, and she looks at me because like I'm the weirdo that watches weird stuff, and she looks at me. She's like, "What did you put on?" I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know, in the entire time, because before I ever watched this, you told me to watch it.
I told you to, yeah.
And so the entire time, I was looking.
I needed
for the
somebody
weird.
else to be
he
in
was
this
like,
with me.
When you see, because I think you were actually
Yeah,
there, Scott.
I think you were here too. I was like, when
because
you
you
see
were
the
like,
part-
once you get to that part, you need to text me or call me. And the entire time,
So that was
like every
That's the
5
part.
minutes would go by, and I was like, "Am I supposed to text him now?
Exactly. Is this the part?
Am I supposed to?"
Because I'm not okay.
because
I'm not all right
I
now.
was so.
man.
But then you get to the part, though. You know
But-
you're
but-
at the part when you get to the part.
But no, that wasn't even. I was like, it's got to get weirder than this.
Actually, the other night,
because
when
that was like
me and Miles
like
went to a
little
party.
over a third
Me
of
and
the
Miles
way
were
through.
at the same party, and he came up to me. He's like, "Hey," we'd already been drinking, and he just comes up to me. He's like, "So I watched Abducted in plain sight." I'm like, "Okay, are you all right?" I'm just like looking at him, like, "Are you fine still?" And he's like, And he literally did. He looks at me. He's like, "What was the part that you were talking about?" And I looked at him like, "Are you?" I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Justin, everything upset me."
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, noted. I was like, that's understandable. I get it. I was like, the part is, and I told him which part I meant, which was in the car. And he's like, no, I get that. He's like, yeah, I totally understand why you said that.
But then, like, not even like a week before, like, we're part of this like group chat.
Yeah.
And they had like posted a picture of that pop. And then they had posted like these memes of that guy like in like Black Hawk Down or something. Like
in a helicopter saying, he's like it's an army guy saying like, we're under fire, we need relief. And it's like relief is on the way, and it shows a picture of him with a helmet on. He's just with his shoulders shrugged.
And I didn't get it. And even after watching it, I didn't get it until he pulled it up and he was like, no, this is that guy. And I was like, oh.
Scott, before we sign off, I pulled it up. And I need you to see it.
I gotta see this.
Hold on. Oh, I had it. It's right here.
It's just too good.
So I'm going to show
it's
Scott,
bad, but it's just too good. Yeah. Like
I'm going to show Scott the pop.
The fact that they're making an actual pop.
Sight. It's called the Reliever.
No, there's not.
Yes.
What?
Look at that.
That's got to be fake.
That's not fake.
I hope it's fake.
I hope it's fake. Because people do a lot of fake pops like that.
Yeah, but you know what? People would buy that. And
the action figures.
Oh my God!
What kind of lawsuit do you think? No. Okay. Okay.
Those people would give them permission.
Yeah,
to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was about to say. Is that if they're willing to get on camera and talk about all this stuff, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, there it is. I mean,
always, dude. Yeah. I have the bladder of a 12-year-old girl.
You take
my God! I'm gonna get abducted in plain sight.
You have to pee.
It's gonna be Scott
because there are UFOs.
No, man.
You have to save.
Good.
I'm fine.
You know, I don't think we ever talked about the specifics of the UFO thing,
and
it has to do with her saving an alien race. Oh, you just need to watch. This guy is like really messed up in the head.
That was a great. That was almost. I felt like Tom Cruise should have run through at some point, and like explain Scientology to him and.
Yeah, this seems like a Scientology thing.
I mean, they even said the names of the aliens at one point, and I was like, what? This guy had a whole backstory.
Maybe he's the founding father of Scientology.
He's not L.
Maybe they're gonna blow Scientology out of the water.
It's like a new Scientology. It's like new Coke. It's like new Scientology. It's the best. Oh my gosh.
Well, there it is. Yeah. We're gonna sign off on that note. Yeah.
We're mentally exhausted now. So.
that's a very taxing subject. So there it is. You guys go watch that. Make your own assumptions and have your own walkways. It's a good documentary. We'll see what happens in part 2. Yeah. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.